Don't you know that's the sound of the men working on the chain gang? That's the sound of the men working on the chain gang. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Happy Saturday morning, everybody. Because when you get older, you have Friday Night Live, and then when you're younger, you have Saturday Night Live, and then when you're older, you have Saturday Morning Live because you're older. So that's a fun one. So this is a movie I made, and we're gonna watch it together, and then we can talk about it. We've done this before with
the true value of a composite lies not in the appearance of any individual artifact, but in the recurrence of similar features across numerous representations of an offender.
It's going to be smaller on this one.
If a paraffin test is administered and no gunshot residues are found,
I think this is a longer movie than
never been
identified, isn't it?
This is the book deposit.
We can cover junk food. Stop there, and then go. What the heck? Properties, advanced audio properties. I think is the correct one. And people are like, that's a really good pod. I'm like, no, it's not. Whoa. Why is my global audio so low? It shouldn't be like that. I feel like this is some kind of a scam. Advanced audio properties, which, oh my goodness. 111. What is it called? Microphone auxiliary. This is supposed to be at 9.1. Why then? Why is it at 0? I'm gonna run some sound checks like that because I don't want to fucking ruin everything for you guys. Cause that would suck if we go live and then everything's terrible. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Dang. Whoops. Everything for you guys. Cause that would suck if we go live and then everything's terrible. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Dang. That's better. You get a little bit of a feedback loop there. Okay, the book depository monitor only mute output, I think. That's correct. And then let's try it.
The true value of a composite lies not in the appearance of any individual artifact, but in the recurrence of similar features across numerous representations of an offender. If a paraffin test is administered,
why is the audio not synced?
True value of a composite lies not in the appearance of any individual artifact, but in the recurrence of similar features across numerous representations of an offender. If a paraffin test is administered and no gunshot residues are found, the real shooter has never been identified. This is the book depository. Hey Mark Robert, stop peddling your snake oil bullshit online. Hey Mark Robert, that shot didn't come from the front if you know it. I've seen the Zapruder film.
Alright, so this is
impossible.
I'm gonna let this play out.
That round to
hopefully it's not laggy.
The only way that that's possible is if the video has been edited. And editing a video like that was a lot harder.
Way harder
back then than it is now.
Way harder.
Why would you put a shooter in front of the motorcade? If you're
way harder to edit videos back then. That's the thing. People look at this Zapruder film and they're like, oh, you can see where areas of the head have been blacked out. And then they've changed the direction of... Dude, do you know how fucking hard that is? Even now. Like, you would need AI to do that, basically. And this was on, what, 8mm film? The Zapruder film? I think it's a 16mm film. But anyway, so there's this scene at the end of the movie where I had to fake a blood spatter, and we'll get there when we get to it, and hopefully I don't forget in 40 minutes.
Shooting from the book
an hour and a half.
Then you're going to rely on complicated airbrushing from 1963.
It's complicated is understating it.
To pull the wool over our eyes? Where's the original footage? It's never been leaked?
It's Mark Robert, shooting from a sewer drain. What a fucking dirtbag. Hey, Mark Robert.
I love Mark Robert, though. He's great.
From the windows of a novice in ballistics.
And I like Mark Robert.
I was turning the wrong thing down. I'm stupid.
Really knowledgeable in
Makes sense.
most things, but not ballistics.
Hopefully that wasn't too loud.
And to make matters worse, Eric Hun Lee.
Mark Robert is awesome, by the way.
He's funny. United States Army.
He's one of the funnier guys on YouTube.
What happens when
not kidding you.
Shot. The gunfire has to come from behind the
But he's crazy.
It's consistent with the video. So I don't know what Mark Robert is talking about,
Sounds like snake oil.
but it sounds like snake oil.
Dead Kennedy's sure here. I love this line, by the way.
Inside this book depository where young men seem to go. Tired of looking at rundown places, they'd rather look through a scope. The leader of the free will can't tell me now, but finally turned the other way around. We're all going over, we're all going over again. Inside this book depository, my adversary's fading away. I know that it would be a lot different if we hadn't stuck to our ways. We're all going over, we're all going over again.
Dead Kennedy's. So anyway, Kennedy was shot from behind. That's what I want to say. I don't know who shot him. I don't think it was Lee Harvey Oswald. It has to sound exactly like Joy Division. What's up, Mr. J's? Alright, so look, I just want to interject this real fast. It's impossible to sound like Joy Division. Nobody can do it. Joy Division sounds like Joy Division. It's in the past. It's very Dead Souls.
We have to crawl into...
So that's another thing. When I was younger, I would make all these rock songs, you know, and they sounded a lot like Joy Division because I was obsessed with Joy Division when I was young. And then later on, I started to get my own sound, and I did that for a few years. So basically, from the time of about the H&R department until this record came out, I don't sound anything like Joy Division, and so I felt like every now and then you can do something that sounds exactly like Joy Division, and you can be like, you can be open about it. You can be like, look, I'm even doing the Ian Curtis voice, and no one can care. If you do every song like that, then you're a fucking idiot. But if you every now and then, like if once in a 5-year period, because when did that record H&R Department 2022 basically was being written in 2020. Some of the songs even 2019, but 2020 really was when the H&R. So for 5 years, 5.5 years, I didn't sound anything like Joy Division. I think that's fair to then sound a little bit like, or to do one song that sounds exactly like Joy Division. Okay, I like this part too.
Do a compartment for this part just for no reason.
This is good.
Oh, jeez.
That was hard.
Not easy.
It's right down there.
Parts of this feel dangerous. I've read Industrial Society and its Future all the way through. Here's the
I
problem
have.
with Ted Kaczynski.
It's kind of a good book.
He makes a lot of really good points, and then all of a sudden he'll just go off the deep end. He's like,
It's
"We have to
really
start bombing
weird.
people." And we're like,
I
"Oh
wanna
my
tell you guys
God,
how
that's
weird
not
that
the
is."
answer." It's pretty bold to put the.
So, okay, a couple points here. Industrial Society and its Future makes it's been a while since I read it, and I was on crystal meth when I read it. So I want to say that maybe it's not as well written as I thought. I'm not sure. I'd have to read it again. It's very, very long, in whatever. But it makes a lot of good points, and it's like, you know, we've become dependent on technology. We've become dependent on the industrialization of our everyday things, and then it'll just at random be like, we have to bomb people. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not the answer. And the funny thing is that actually just perpetuates the problem. And so I think Ted Kaczynski was just very twisted. I don't think he was in his right mind, and that's, I mean, obviously, right, it's the Unabomber, so it's not like, you know, people are like trying to justify that the Unabomber was sane to me. I'm not arguing against a very big group of people here. But I'm sure he has his followers, and I'll go. I'm willing to be objective enough to tell people that it's actually a good book, except for the parts where he talks about bombing people. Okay, and then this is if you remember in New Cokes, I opened the movie with an isolated vocal, but the thing there was that was kind of a good vocal. I wanna blame all my problems on Arthur Lee Allen. It was more sing-songy. This is just like Joy Division, and so I wanted to do this isolated. So that there was just no pride left on the table.
Isolated vocal part in the worst sounding vocal of the record. History is an ancient place of...
By golly.
I'm keeping that. I don't care what anyone says. History is an ancient place of danger by our own making. Now nothing's unpredictable.
It's pretty JD.
Electronic attrition. All of our complacency will undo all we know.
Let me tell you a secret about this song. That's fun. So basically, it was supposed to get a new drum track, and I messed something up in the workstation, and I couldn't sync the new drums up with the song. I'm sure I could have done it if I tried harder and been sober before I did it. But anyway, I tried to sync up some new drums, and for whatever reason, I couldn't do it. I think I was working in the wrong BPM. I had the file say anyway. This is a long technical story. And so I couldn't get the new drums in. Well, then one day, kind of all of a sudden, I realized, well, isn't this a song criticizing technology? Let's keep it a drum machine on purpose. So it's a drum machine, and it's very mechanical for a reason now. It's kind of like reverse hacktivism. Like first you find a problem, and then you come up with a reason why that works for you. But in the interest of transparency, it is actually on purpose. Because I could have fixed it.
Living in a primal world where no one dares to go. Industrial society and its future has no place.
By golly.
Industrial society has no future.
Oh, by golly. Okay. Maybe it's impossible. I don't know what I was mad about here. I think I was mad about trying to sync up the guitar to the video. It's like, it's impossible. It's just difficult. This was an accident. You can see the pictures are cut off on the top. I don't know what happened there. I just left it. I was fine with it. The bass was actually crushing it. I recorded the bass. So I recorded the bass to that song in 2024. And I loved the bass line so much that I was afraid to redo it. Because, yes, I could redo it and make it sound better and make it more polished, but then I was like, well, what if I forget something or screw something up? And that's a long story that goes back... Thank you, Kid Freshie. It's very Joy Division-y. You would love Joy Division. Go listen to... You should probably know about Joy Division anyway. But it's very Joy Division-y. Okay, this is like one of my favorite songs on the record. This is a straight party song right here. 3, 2, 1.
Alright, so let me show you what you mean. So this whole area
was perfectly clean last night.
Perfectly clean last night.
Oh, Industrial Society?
Came downstairs.
Can you imagine if someone had that? I don't think anyone's going to have that, Mr. Jesse.
He even took out a mop bucket. What is he doing with that shit?
I got home this evening, and I turned on the lights. I thought I was dreaming, or that I lost my mind. Such senseless disaster had clearly come after that cold-hearted bastard. My house got hit by the Visalia ransacker. Yeah, Kid Freshie, that's actually what would happen. That's what would happen, Kid Freshie, because the main reason that Joy Division appealed to me when I was a disturbed 17-year-old kid or 16-year-old kid is that Ian had killed himself. And I think it added a lot of intensity to that band. I would never have cared if Ian didn't kill himself. And yeah, you're right. Ian, I do really like Joy Division. I think their energy live. I don't listen to Studio Joy Division ever. Studio Joy Division is trash. I only like their live performances because they have a lot more distortion and they're more heavy and they're just intense. And Ian's screaming. He doesn't sound like he's all wish-washy bullshit. Martin Hannett absolutely destroyed that band's sound, by the way, and he's done a greater disservice to Joy Division than anyone ever has, except maybe Ian when he hanged himself. Or maybe that was a good... I don't... And let's not get into that. But the point is, I like live Joy Division. Transmission was fire. New Order was okay. It's such a discussion. Go listen to the Paradiso gig of Joy Division. Paradiso. It's got better production than any of their studio albums, and it's an incredible gig. And it will really give you an understanding of like why Joy Division's awesome. But same time, like if Ian had never died, there would be a inauthenticity to that band because everything about Joy Division is so dark, and so the fact that someone actually died is really what kind of makes it more real. So this is a scene where I have a ski mask and a Tupperware on my head.
Tape is rolling.
Ignition sequence
is really
start.
solid right here. This is a good costume.
It's a NASA
Okay,
thing.
3, 2, 1.
Ignition sequence starts.
How am I to recover? How can I ever clean up? How have I been another? I thought he really had enough of his rifle and rampage, going through all my dresser drawers, and left a disaster. My house got hit by the Visalia ransacker.
My wife was asleep and I was ransacking the drawer right there. It's funny.
Off of my couches and chairs.
She would have been like, what the
Alright,
fuck?
so we're going to be prank calling.
This is the thing about these scenes. Like, a lot of these scenes are shot, and there's no... Like, if I'm just me sitting in my room, like, just ransacking a drawer with a ski mask on. So she would have... I don't know, she was asleep. I think she slept through it, but you woke up and be like, what in the world is going on now? And what you don't know is it's an intermission for the movie, so... It looks a lot better with the music behind it.
Hold on.
Like, this is a
But here's the thing.
clearly
We're gonna get 'em.
shoegaze. I don't know.
But we have to keep them on the phone until I do the thing.
I
So
just
the
like
way
it
to
'cause
do that
it's
is we're going to ask
CGF.
them for something.
Or
And
CFGF.
then, like, before we can finish what we're going to ask them for, then we're going to nail them.
We're gonna nail him right here. I used to work for this company back in the day.
Hi, do you guys have a coil for...
You're never gonna troll me.
2024, you dumb fuckers. I'm going to fucking...
I messed up right there. I meant to say you're gonna research again tonight.
You're never going to troll me, you fucking...
I don't understand the lore behind this.
He asked if I'm from Argentina. Why does he... What?
Oh.
That guy...
Oh,
has no
you don't
idea
know
what just
about
hit him.
that? That's Kid Freshie. That's the East Area Rapist. He's you're never gonna catch me, East Area Rapist. You dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful. He called the sheriff's department and said that. So I repurposed it into you're never gonna troll me. New Cokes 2024. You dumb fuckers. And then I went and look. This part right here. I had to make a decision. Do I really want to spill orange juice all over my stool? Obviously not really. So I had to go with Windex. I think sometimes you have to make significant sacrifices for art, and I just wasn't willing to make that one, because that would have been a nightmare. I mean, yeah, I could have bleached it and stuff afterward, but it's just really gross to spill orange juice. But the Visalia ransacker did do that. He came into someone's house and he spilled orange juice all over their couches and chairs.
Someone get all this orange juice off of my couches and chairs.
Oh, my floor, my
Get
mace.
all the shaving cream off of my couches and chairs. Oh, someone get all these red photographs and return my single earrings from a pair. My house has been battered. My room has been tattered. My dishes still clatter. My house got hit by the Visalia ransacker.
So you know how people call coffee Joe?
This is true.
Does anyone else think that D'Angelo has just like ruined that for us?
Is that a Jag? No, it's a Telecaster copy.
Like, oh, let me get a cup of Joe.
Whoa. Looks like this. Oh my god. Looks like that.
Almost died making this scene.
And this part under the bridge that says pan shot, if you see that, that's from the movie The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. There's a part where this guy tries to rob a bank, and the guy's like, I dare you.
This is my right report.
So he hides outside with a gun, and then the bank teller comes running at him with a bunch of pans.
And now we can be safe again, cause the Earons has been found. I guess that the quest for files was all it took to bring him down. And everyone's been given a man.
The machine kills Earons? What?
When all that he ever did was post some smoked out shit on Reddit. A quester put geographic profiles together for many years. Quester mapped his prowling routes. Now there's nothing left for us to fear because
So far, a lot of my favorite parts.
Alright, this was a good part.
Let me
the weird
give you a
unscripted
rundown on this
parts where I'm in this.
All right, so there's the best bit of the movie. Obviously, is towards the end, and honestly, I'm so happy it's in there because it really saved this movie from being very boring to at least having like one really good part in it. And we'll talk about that when it comes up. But there was a time where I went into the closet here in my, office studio closet, and I turned the lights off, and I was like, so glad the East Area Rapist. Oh, yeah. I turned all the lights off, and I was like, I'm gonna just really go for as long as I can in this isolation chamber and film it and chop the bits out. And I think it's only about 40 minutes. It was like 30 minutes or 40 minutes or something like that. And actually, the funny part is you do kind of see me descend into insanity because I'm talking about nuking Somalia from the moon. So I'm just going to let this run. And then I need to get a vape room. So in order to satisfy the desire to have more of those scenes in this movie, I'm going to be filming for an extended period of time in a dark, small room. And then I'm going to pick out the parts that I like the most. And then you can see one musician's gradual descent into insanity. Gonna troll you. Gonna troll you. Fucking troll. You fucking troll. Let's go into this little compartment area where I showed you from Industrial Society. The part that was a weird part. I like that part. You're the kind of person who does 3-hour live streams on YouTube. You can actually sit here with a camera and a microphone like indefinitely and maintain total sanity. Thanks, Kid Freshie. We're gonna find out. All in the line. We're gonna 40 minutes into the compartment again. Troll you. And so that "gonna troll you" thing is another original Night Stalker quote, where he calls he calls victim one. And he says, "Gonna kill you."
So there's
but
the
instead
board.
I changed it. And it's the board behind me. Let's change a little
There
bit.
it is.
As long as we get all the shaving cream off the couches and chairs. Oh my god, what is going on
Fucking
here?
ISIL put me through.
Now we can be safe again, cause right when court is fading away. Sorry, it's just a nightmare now. I sail you again, further away. I think we go outside because they caught the killer of the magic yours. And I don't think we need to be afraid anymore.
Let's just build. I love this one. Just building right here. Building. The experience of the experiment. Gonna troll you. Okay. Is that okay? That's good. You guys see how much I vape on these
Oh, I
shows,
was so surprised. There was no shots of me vaping in the movie until now. So I'm gonna put that in there. All right,
It's
so
like a
let's talk about
nervous
the
tick.
composite board. Since everybody's probably wondering what the fuck has been going on in the background of this movie the entire time, that's the Zodiac killer. I drew him. I think he looks like that. That's based on some
Wait
witnesses.
till you hear what I
That's
tell you
Don
about
Chaney.
the
He's
Zodiac
not the
part,
Zodiac
Kid
killer.
Freshie.
He's been
When
in Mobile Five.
Honcho comes in,
And then
I'm gonna tell a story with that.
Skinny on the rooftop.
A lot of
the
trouble.
guy who shoots down the helicopter in Black Hawk Down, and it's like a composite sketch of him.
You talk about putting things all on the line.
American helicopters.
And then this is the logo of the streamboard thing. This is a colorized version of the Maggior Revised. And that's the Bing Crosby sketch of D.B. Cooper. With
It's
the
a good
sunglasses on,
colorized
and I
version.
did that with charcoal. And then this is the New Cokes. Now it's made by my wife. That's the board.
I pinned that.
This is like that movie. Who's in that movie where the guy gets buried in Iraq? It's ISIL.
ISIL put me here.
Oh, fuck. Darn it. Fucking ISIL.
ISIL put me here.
People be like, why are you trapped in a dark room? It's like, ISIL put me here.
Oh, I don't know. Because I don't listen to the Beatles. I'll get into that in a second.
Finally, now I know that ripened chord is receding fast and far from me, because Quester put a psychological outline of you and your ways online.
All right. Rubber Soul or Sgt. Pepper. Here's what here's the best way to word it. So like New Cokes came out, and I wrote Ripened Court basically at the close of the New Cokes sessions. So Ripened Court is from about the same time as the New Cokes era. And this album kind of bridges the gap between New Cokes' sound and then kind of what I like. It's not going to sound, when I do another record, it's not really going to sound like the next record is going to be there's going to be a lot more space in it, and it's going to have, I want it to be more riff focused than chord focused. Like this album, in New Cokes is the epitome of chord focused. It's everything is a chord progression in New Cokes. And then this album has a little bit more riffiness, like Industrial Society. It's some of the like Kauai Avenue is a little bit more arpeggiated, but it's still chord progression focused. So I want it to be kind of like more riffy focused and have more space between. And that was what I planned on with the Book Depository, and it didn't happen. So we'll see what happens with, but I don't want it to sound like New Cokes ever again. Basically, like I want every album to change a little bit. And this record is more punky than New Cokes, I think, though, because it's more obscure. It's even more obscure. It's like less commercially appealable, basically. Like New Cokes is, you can play some New Cokes songs on the radio if they weren't all about mass murder. There was a part where I crawled down into the compartment. I said, parts of this seem dangerous." That was because there was a big piece of wood that was like above my head. Or this is the smaller
so
one.
I could kind of like, it could
But I have a couple of wooden stakes.
This
is a wooden stake.
It's like a
So
wooden
you use to
stake
kill
that you
vampires.
use to kill vampires. I like to do really good in isolation tests for NASA. If they
Who
just
was
gave
it
me
that
a
commented and said
microphone
NASA
a
should hire
camera,
me?
Magic of video editing, you don't see how much
Too
Windex
offensive.
I actually sprayed on the chair. So it's completely soaked.
Cancel culture. Work it.
$80,000, the wind stopped blowing.
Oh, this part's from
If
the
anyone
AA
knows what
book.
that's from, you fucking need assistance.
It's from the Book of Alcoholics
If you don't know
Anonymous.
what that's from, you need to go out and drink more. I did consider
I think I gave it away
What if
right
the
there.
whole movie is in a closet? I think you can only do it.
I think it's in a
Whoa,
vision
look at
for
that.
you or something. It's towards the end.
It looks like daytime in here. Holy
Talking
shit.
about how the alcoholic runs rampant through the lives of everyone close to
Whoa,
him.
now it looks like nighttime. Gonna troll you.
It's somewhere. Anyway. Chevy Cat's awesome. You guys are great. I have a great community here.
I think we can go outside because they caught the killer of the magic using. I don't think we need to be afraid anymore.
We're holding
Day
quite a
82,
while.
it says. It was only like 30 minutes.
NASA would be pissed. They'd be like, "You're not supposed to be able to do that." And anyway, who even fucking cares what Mars is made of? It's probably made out of something stupid.
God, I'm so excited for the moon mission, by the
moon
way.
is good though.
The
And it
moon
has a
mission
military
launches like
equipment.
February
You can see
6th.
the Earth at all times.
So cool.
That's really good for blowing up countries like Somalia. But for
For
Mars, you can't blow up Somalia from
Can't
there.
blow
Who
up
the fuck would
Somalia.
want to go there?
You could blow up Somalia from Mars, but it's a lot harder.
Kind of troll.
It's less practical. From the moon, you could pretty
I
much
don't
blow up
want to go to
Somalia.
Mars anyway.
A lot easier.
And the moon looks really cool too.
I agree with this too.
Like
Even
those
though I said
Apollo
it.
photos are really cool looking.
They are.
Mars, I don't fucking care.
Mars
it just
is
looks
okay.
like a fucking
It's okay.
Barstow, except everything is red.
They're like, yeah, we're gonna go to
It's the
another
same as
planet.
going
It's
to
like,
Barstow with red
it's
glasses.
too
It's the
far.
exact same thing.
Like, why would you
they're
want to?
flying to the moon in a couple months.
Just go to the moon. That's gonna be huge fucking news.
Yeah.
Do you dude? The
like a month and a half.
level of the news coverage that's gonna
I hope
get
so.
is gonna be ridiculous.
I hope people fucking still care about moonflies.
Dave Weiss just doesn't get it.
Part here.
This is Wits It Gets It to David Weiss.
We
Might need to rethink some shit.
That's Owen.
Oh, there is footage of that. Not in prison, but in the holding cell for the little detention center when he was awaiting a trial that never came. Oh man, I wish that case had gone to trial. He's such a chicken shit motherfucker for taking a plea on that, because if that case had gone to trial, we wouldn't be asking a lot of these questions that we're asking about Hurons anymore. We would know what happened at a lot of these crime scenes, and a lot of this stuff that all comes out in trial. And so since he never went to trial, it kind of makes you wonder how law enforcement was able to do that, because obviously they didn't want him to go to trial, because there's a lot of stuff they didn't want him to talk about, and they also didn't want to pay for the trial. But the trial would have cost millions of dollars, by the way. Where was I going with that? What am I talking about on here? There's something relevant. Benjamin came up with that. Smart. Okay. Oh yeah. So moon missions. I'm hoping that people still care about moon missions, and that they just don't really know that they care yet until they see it. And when they see it, hopefully they're going to be like, "Oh, we care about that." Oh, he's behind bars, yeah. The old man, yeah, I agree. I get what you mean by that. But he was only 72 when he was arrested, and he's in pretty good health, so I think he's going to do a decent little chunk of time, and he's going to die there. And really, the reality of these offenders and stuff is that the primary goal with locking them up isn't so much retaliation, although, of course, that's what people want. It's important to remember that we just needed to remove Hurons from society, because he's a danger to himself and others, and in the most significant way, obviously. And we can't live in a society where people like Hurons are fucking running around. And if we have those people, you have to lock them away. So retaliation, yes, that's a motivator. For beating Lyman Smith to death, for killing Claude Snelling, for blah blah blah, etc. etc. You gotta suffer for that stuff. But actually, that's not really the Christian way of looking at it. The Christian way of looking at it is just that he's dangerous and he needs to be separated from potential victims. So, but I get what you're saying, and he's gonna do some serious time. I like that song. I think he'll live a little while. Control. Give him another 10 years or so. And that's pretty bad. Segregated housing for 10 years is like torture. He's basically getting tortured.
Cause the Hurons has been found.
Now we can be safe again. Joey and Joey has been found.
Joey.
Now we can be safe again, cause they'll soon be dead and underground.
Now we can be safe again, cause the Hurons is dead underground.
You jump for Joey,
Yeah, you jump for Joey.
dirtbag,
I need to tape that sign up,
garbage.
at least temporarily.
Jump for Joey, oh, you can't see me, oh, you can't see
Can't
me,
see
I'm
me.
Joey.
You know what's funny about that? Is anyone else watching Pluribus? Because in Pluribus, John Cena just made an appearance. They're like, "Hello, Carol, we're John Cena." And it was just good timing. I didn't know that. I mean, of all the references to make, you can't see me, I'm Junk Food Joey. A Primus-style slap-bass song about JJD. I don't even know how to do that. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I'm Junk Food Joey, you can't see me, John Cena. So, that was just good timing. So that's been my plug for Pluribus. It's okay. The problem is that it's getting to be slow now. Each episode isn't making any progress. So hopefully that changes. Here we go. We're going to keep watching it, but...
So basically, the Mandela effect is when a company spells their product.
This is so true.
And you think that it's spelled another way.
It's like the
and
Ted
then eventually
Braden people.
you find out that it's spelled that way. And in a moment of sheer
This is like the Don Chaney people right here. Mandela effect.
Consider the fact that you might have
Don Chaney with Zodiac. Mandela effect.
Something. You instead say, no, It's the CERN Super Collider.
CERN Super
That's
Collider
what
made Don Chaney do it.
You lost your energy on the side of the road in a rifle scope, out in the street where no one knows.
Alright, so when I wrote the song Chlorine Chamber, Charlie Kirk hadn't been killed yet. And there's a lot of sniper imagery in this album because it's it's a book depository. And it just happened that a lot of stuff about snipers and assassinations in this album. And what do you know? That just recently happened, but that happened after I wrote this song. So there's a lot of like weird prophetic shit going on in this album that I can't account for, but it happened, and the proof is in the pudding.
Time coming, there's nothing that you can do, 'cause I'm not with the morning crowd. Silence there from a place deep underground.
The darkest song on the album here.
Can't you see this place, they made it fallen? I know that's not what you wanna hear. This land's collapsed, this place is burning, and now I know the end is near. I can see the ashes falling down to the street where the bodies lay.
Thanks, Kid Freshie. 30% of making an album is recording music.
I like Chlorine Chamber.
10% of it is
It's different.
coffee, and then 60% of it is looking for the.
It was very high when I wrote that
I
song.
dropped it, and
It's a very
it
dark
fell
song.
into an abyss, and it has to be the.
It's the most serious song in the
Because a
album.
weasel got into CERN, and
Weasel.
ever since the weasel crawled into CERN,
Don Chaney has been the
I
Zodiac.
find my things. There's
Ever
no
since
other
the weasel got into
These people
CERN,
have
Don
an
Chaney was the
entire
Zodiac.
subreddit dedicated to the fact that they were.
Ted Braden was DB Cooper.
Isn't that crazy?
Mutiny has called. Your office won't hold anything.
You guys are seeing this from the perspective of the vape right now.
Dude, it's actually really crazy lyrics in that. Mutiny is called. Your office won't hold anything. Mutiny is called. What is it? Your office can't keep anything. Oh, your term length's come and gone. That's what it is. That's a fucked up song, by the way. What is that fucking intro? You lost your energy on the side of the road in a rifle scope out in the street where no one knows that no one knows what no one knows. That's a complicated sentence. Break that sentence down. I did it. I had to because I didn't know if it was worked or not. It works. You're never gonna catch me. You dumb fucker.
I swear, if I find out that this vape has a ski mask on and it's saying, "You're never gonna catch me," I was thinking if I had like some aerial surveillance,
it didn't help
then
at all.
maybe I could find it, but you actually can't see anything on there.
You can't see a damn thing.
I'm just in a pile of guitars and cables and laundry.
You're never gonna catch me. Oh. This went on for a while, by the way. I was looking for this.
Mutiny has called. Your office won't hold anything. Your term length's come and gone. Your office can't hold anything. Your mutiny has called.
Mutiny has called. That's fucked up, dude. Mutiny with a sniper rifle.
Six Semper Tyrannis.
Yeah, Six Semper Tyrannis.
You've seen this place, they made a fall, and I know that's not what you wanna hear. This land's collapsed, this place is burning, and now I know the end is near. I can see the ashes falling down to the street where the bodies lay.
Gunfire. We choose to go to the moon. That's a great. I like that speech a lot. I mean, at least that part. I believe this nation should commit itself to achieving this goal before this decade is out, landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth. Gangster. And then they actually did that. Pretty sure they did that. I'm at about a 98%. There's a lot of, there's a statement being made here. Look at all those people on fentanyl. Isn't that terrible? Look at how many people are on fentanyl now. The streets are empty. There's just people on fentanyl. It's fucked up. There's just nothing but people on fentanyl. Look at that. It's completely empty. How many people are on fentanyl in this scene? At least one person on fentanyl in that scene. And then the one before, there's like a Continental Congress of fentanyl, and this guy's like walking on fentanyl.
This is my wife. Do you have anything you want to say to the world?
And this is the whole love of my whole life right there.
Confirm. This is one of our...
She likes to come on the show, and then she was like,
Perfect. That'll be in there.
that's Sadie.
I was
Sadie has
putting up
grown
these
since then.
nets,
It's funny.
all from different tree branches.
Alright, so this is a
and
real
then
guy.
Leaving natural vegetation.
So he's staying out with this immigrant. He's an illegal immigrant, literally, but he's great. He's a funny guy. Doesn't speak any of English, any words of it. So this is actually how I learned a lot of Spanish from this guy. And anytime I'd be working on something, I'd be like, hey, Javier, like, let's work on this. And he's like, for mí no trabajando, solo fumando. Because it means no working, only smoking.
that. And I said, Javier, come over here. Help me with this. And he said, me too lazy.
Me too lazy.
Looked at him and I told him,
It's a true story.
solo saqueador para mi casa, no otro persona.
Only ransack my own house, not other people's houses. Prowler walker. I shot this in bad lighting, you know, but I kept it. Because you can still see what's going on, like trying to open a door that opens inward.
Jumping over fences just hasn't been enough for me. I've run from all the neighbors and memento for policey.
Alright, so that scene is from the North Hollywood shootout. I believe that was 1995 or something like that. Maybe 96. Anyway, these two guys robbed a bank with body armor and AK-47s and like an arsenal of guns. Somehow they didn't end up killing any cops. I don't actually know how that happened, but they got killed. And I went to that crime scene in real life. It's tiny. If you've ever seen the footage of the North Hollywood shootout, you're expecting a totally different thing than what it looks like on the ground. And that's something like with true crime that I've talked about with you guys, about the value of going to crime scenes for real and how hard it is to actually make critical conclusions about a crime scene's geography until you see it in real life. Because the North Hollywood shootout was like, what the fuck? This is the same place? It was mind-blowing. And now on the footage you can see it. Like once you've been there and then you see the aerial, you're like, okay, that makes sense, I get it, you know. But what you're seeing on television at the North Hollywood, it looks it's so much smaller. It's tiny. It's like a gas station parking lot. It's crazy actually. And I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting this big open bank area, like just huge. And what's weird too is the street that's next to that bank is like a freeway. Like it's a lot of traffic going past that bank. And of course you don't see that on the footage because on the footage they shut the streets down. But in real life it's like next to a freeway basically. It's a huge 8-lane street, something like that, maybe more, I don't know. And then the bank is like a tiny little bank just tucked off to the side, and then it goes into a residential area. I'd like to analyze that crime scene again with increased comprehension of crime scene geography and stuff like that now that I'm older. And I haven't because it's a bank robbery. But I've been there and it was way different than anticipated. And this is supposed to be me and on identikit. It's absolutely terrible.
I know they never saw my face, and I doubt that new
I doubt the identikit.
While the town hall scream and shout, kill that piece of shit.
Terrible.
This is why the FBI doesn't like identikits.
Just
It doesn't
terrible.
dawn on you how just it doesn't look like me at all until you try to build an identikit and you're like, who is that?
Lock up all your properties, leave lights on at all hours. Tell them that you're sure you've seen me, yo soy un prowler. Keep owls in your window tracks, I made a homemade ski mask. Now you know you never saw me, yo soy un prowler.
And it's accidentally called out their company.
Hey, you're never gonna troll me, New Cokes 2024, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna research again tonight, be careful.
Boop, boop, boop. Immediately knew what I was doing. Now he knows.
I don't think you actually have a documentary complete unless you're making fun of Junk Food Joey.
True.
I never got to,
True.
when I was making New Cokes, make
Valid.
fun of Eurons. It was just really important for me to make sure that I was making fun of Eurons. I think that the...
Oh, I just watched Spinal Tap 2, I think last night. And I didn't know how much I liked Rob Reiner. It's so sad that... Because I didn't know who... I mean, I've heard of him. I've heard his name, but I never really, thought about who is Rob Reiner. And then I saw that... Rob Reiner's, the nicest fucking dude, I think. That's just my opinion based on Spinal Tap 2. But it's like really shitty that someone stabbed him to death. This kid stabbed him. It's a great movie. Go watch Spinal Tap 2. It's cool. The first one I think is more, but I like what they've done with like the old, because my dad was in a band in the 80s and he hasn't done this in several years. I think it's been 6 years. But he goes over to St. Louis, Missouri, and they do like recording sessions, and they're like all old now. And it's pretty funny. They did like a photo shoot where they're like walking through a graveyard. And this is not my dad's idea. It's the lead singer. The lead singer is totally delusional and thinks that he's still, 18. And it just reminded me of them. Descriptions of Junk Food Joey jumping over the fences. I like their records though. The songs from the 80s are really good.
Now we have him running along the tops of people's
Red October
fences.
is awesome.
It's not realistic. It's much like a game of telephone. I think what actually happened is he probably was at least somewhat adept at jumping.
It's a good name for a band too.
Fences, and then someone saw that. That got transmitted to the next person as he can jump fences in a single bound to now he's running along the tops of the fences. I mean, where does it stop?
This is what I saw this on Pro Boards, by the way. People were saying Junk Food Joey was running on top of backyard fences. That's impossible. So that didn't happen.
Next thing you know, he's going to be teleporting through people's fences.
That's more
I
believable.
like this angle more.
The Egyptians can cut granite, so I think you can teleport. We don't know how to do it yet.
Make sure that you can see the fucking...
Won't that be great? They're never going to let us do that because the oil company...
Fences aren't enough for me. Landmines aren't enough for me. Fences aren't enough for me. 'Cause I can run from the ICE. Fences aren't enough for me. Landmines aren't enough for me. Fences aren't enough for me. 'Cause I can run from the ICE. Yo soy un prowler. Yo soy un prowler. Yo soy un prowler. Yo soy un prowler. Yo soy un prowler.
I am a prowler.
Yo soy un prowler. Yo soy un prowler.
A little bluesy drop down there. Here it comes. Are you guys ready? It's my favorite part of the movie, obviously. Or it's almost that. I'll tell you when.
So,
Picture of Don Chaney. The CERN super collider misfired, and now Don Chaney is the Zodiac.
Picture of Don Chaney on the computer monitor would have made this a lot easier.
It's gotta be CERN. Ned really gets it. Because Black Box Online Radio is the best, dude. Ned is the only radio show host left in the world. You know that? He's he's the last surviving fucking Howard Stern, dude.
Remember, if there's one thing you learn, you can never, ever be too weird. 'Cause being weird is not a crime, but when you're only online,
being weird is not a crime, dude.
Objective true crime from around the world. West Virginia at heart, with Ned DeHaan in Black Box Online Radio. Black Box Online Radio.
Alright, so before it starts, let me say a couple things about this part. I think that this upcoming scene right now, hopefully I'm in the right place again, I think I am, is the saving grace of this movie. Okay, so if you're watching this and you're on New Cokes, you might know who Sandy Betts is, okay? Sandy Betts is a Vallejo native, a woman from Vallejo that lived there in the 60s, and basically, she's literally in Robert Graysmith's book, Zodiac Unmasked. And she is convinced that the Zodiac Killer has been following her for 50 years or more. And I think even she still thinks that there's some honcho activity happening. I'm not sure, but she says it's a conspiracy of approximately 2 to 3 different men, and that the main one has dark skin, but that he's not Hispanic, but you would think he was because his name is Honcho, and again, she says that Honcho is not even a Mexican word, and she's right about that, I guess. But Honcho is the Zodiac, and Honcho appears to be Mexican. There's pictures of Honcho online. I guess the weird part about the Honcho story is that there is a photo of Honcho on the internet, and nobody knows who he is. So if anyone can identify who the fuck that Honcho guy is, maybe we can put this this story either to bed or give it some weight. But anyway, Honcho, the Mexican Zodiac killer, has been following Sandy Betts for a long time, and I've been part of or surrounded by Mexican culture for, not part of it, but I've been surrounded by Mexican culture for I guess since 2017, really, because 2017 was when I got involved in all the crime, and there's a lot of Mexican stuff in the crime, and so I've been to their little backyard parties where they have stand-up bass and big pots a lot of times. I went to even one with my wife. It was pretty cool, and she got to experience the little backyard Mexican party, but I've been to those before, and they're really fun, and everybody eats a bunch of spicy fucking food, and there's a band playing. It's fun. And I really like the whole scene. So people will be like, well, this shot right here is the most racist thing I've ever seen. It's a joke. And here's another thing that I have to explain to people, because if you don't know about the culture, like the men in Mexican culture love to clown on each other. It's like the main thing that they do. And they make fun of each other, and they tease each other, and it's all out of love, and it's in fun, and sometimes it can be kind of it can get rowdy, but there's humor in it, and it's a sarcasm, and it's really fun. So anyway, someone that I'm working with is like right now is like really old school gangster. Like, he's been mag dumped twice. People basically dumped the gun out on him twice. He was in the hospital. He was a major Mexican mafia affiliated gangster, I think, Mexican mafia. But anyway, major gangster in the 90s and stuff, and just really up to no good. And I sent him this video. And then for the next couple of days, I was like really paranoid. I was like, oh fuck, like, am I in trouble? But doesn't seem like I'm in any trouble. I haven't heard back about it. He even liked the video. So anyway, here we go. This is my favorite scene in the movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest hardly needs introduction beyond the purposes of formality. He has been called many names: Suspect, POI, Arthur Lee Allen, The Perp, the Lake Berryessa Voyeur, and the Code Killer. But you may know him better as Honcho. Honcho is a dedicated criminal who has been working his craft for over 80 years, suspected of having followed researcher Sandy Betts around town since she was quite young. We don't yet have the evidence to charge him or the keys to his true identity, but we hope to get to those one day soon. Please welcome to the show, Honcho, the Mexican Zodiac Killer. Honcho, can you give us some background on a day in the life? I mean, what does it look like to be the Mexican Zodiac Killer?
My name is Honcho. Most of the day is follow para Sandy Betts, and maybe sometimes a little killer here and a there.
That's incredible.
Oh,
Do you think she's on to you?
Sometimes I do a crafty cryptogram, maybe for the hoping you gotta realize I'm the Zodiac Killer. Sometimes I leave the evidencia in the backseat para la coche.
Wow. What kind of evidence do you leave behind?
Maybe sometimes for the paper hood, maybe sometimes for the bandolier, then maybe a little part of the shoe polish.
Have you ever had any problems with Sandy Betts approaching law enforcement with some of that evidence?
No problema, no. Only para momento por police, pero yo tengo de amigos en la police y gonna take the evidencia and throw it in the trash.
That's incredible. So, would you say there's a complicated conspiracy involved here?
I would say there's complicated conspiracy. See, sometimes yo tengo para amigos gonna follow Sandy Betts to the diner, y sometimes amigos gonna shoot the armas en la casa de Sandy Betts para divertido y para aterrador.
You know, Honcho, a lot of people have called you a terrorist and a dangerous criminal offender. What do you say to those allegations?
No para nothing in the allegations. No para mí same. Persona siempre gonna say, oh no para el rancho, pero no for me. Divertido para no.
I mean, shooting guns at people's houses and planting crime scene evidence in someone's car to get a rise out of them for over 60 years seems quite malicious to me.
No para la malo, solo para otra persona casa y divertido for the
Immigration search warrant.
momento for me, momento for police.
I'm now receiving reports that Honcho has been deported to Mexico. Wow. That's incredible.
All right, so look up Bill Dana, the astronaut, Jose Jimenez. He says, "My name Jose Jimenez. I am the chief astronaut for the United States Interplanetary." And that's the main inspiration for that gig, that skit or whatever. But or as Trevor would call it, a sketch. But anyway, for that little skit is it's Jose Jimenez in the modern era. It's just more extreme than his. And one other thing I want to point out on Honcho is that he says, some people would say that you're a dangerous criminal offender. What do you say to those allegations? And Honcho's response to that makes absolutely no sense no matter what language you're speaking. Let me show you. It's classic shit. I love his response to that. It's just one of my favorite elements of this skit is that he I am obviously the radio show host, but they're characters. So the interviewer basically asks him, don't you think that's like being a dangerous criminal offender, like shooting guns into people's houses and planting crime scene evidence and just being horrible? Which is the things that Sandy Betts has said. Sandy Betts has said that Honcho has done these things. And Honcho's response to that is no para nothing in the allegations, no. So that means no for nothing in the allegations, no. For me, same. People always gonna say, oh no, for the Honcho, but no. For me, funny, but no. So in English, no for nothing in the allegations, no. For me, same. People always gonna say, oh no, for the Honcho, but no. For me, funny, but no. It doesn't even, it's not a response. And I love that because Honcho, you can't justify that behavior, Planting crime scene evidence, shooting guns at people's houses, it's terrible stuff to do. And Honcho just has nothing to say to that. And it says, shooting guns at people's houses and planting crime scene evidence in someone's car to get a rise out of them for over 60 years seems quite malicious to me. It says, no, for the bad. For me, other people's house, and funny for... Like, none of these responses make any sense, and I love that. But some of them do, I guess. Let's see. Do you think she's on to you? Sometimes I do a crafty cryptogram, maybe for the hoping she's going to realize that a Zodiac killer. Sometimes I leave evidence in the backseat of the car, or I leave the evidence in the backseat for the car. And then what kind of evidence do you leave? Maybe sometimes for the paper hood. That's another thing. I have a picture of it coming up, so I'll just let it happen. Sometimes for the paper hood, maybe sometimes for the bandolier. That's like a gun belt, like those belts that have the ammunition on them. And then maybe a little for the shoe polish. And we'll talk about both of those things in a second. Have you ever had any problems with Sandy Betts approaching law enforcement with some of that evidence? Never, no problems, no. Only for memento for policey, which is only for wait for police. But I have friends in the police and gonna take the evidence and throw it in the trash. That's another thing Sandy Betts says is happening. All of these things are things that Sandy Betts says happens to her. She gives evidence to the San Francisco Police Department and she never sees it again because they just yo tengo para amigos en la policía, gonna take the evidencia and throw it in the trash, dude. I would say there's complicated conspiracy. Yes, sometimes I have for amigos gonna follow the Sandy Betts to the diner, and sometimes amigos gonna shoot the armas in La Casa de Sandy Betts for funny and for scary. So those are some lines from Honcho. And then we'll keep going here.
You can call me a computer hacker.
So that's me pinging ZodiacKiller.com. That's not hacking, but basically just sending it. Oh, thanks, Manny Grossman. Everybody's watching this movie now. That's great. So this is a picture of Sandy. Look, I'm gonna blow this up right now because I want you guys to understand what is going on here. So Sandy Betts says that the Lake Berryessa costume was put into her car, and that shortly after the murder of Cecilia Shepard and the attempted murder of Brian Hartnell, she went outside, and in the backseat of her car, not only did she find that there was clothesline missing from this. Honestly, some of the shit that Sandy Betts says, unless it's proven, it's kind of despicable. Like, it's very misleading, and I really, really hope that Sandy Betts is crazy and she actually believes the stuff that she's saying, because if she doesn't, it's very disturbing that she's misleading the narrative like this. Like, she says that the clothesline was taken from her backyard, and then she went over to her car, and the clothesline, of course, was what was used to bind Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard during the stabbing. And then she says that she went to her car and she found the costume that was used at Lake Berryessa. She took this costume. She says that the hood, the headgear of the Zodiac Killer was made from a paper bag, and that it was painted, or that it had been colored with something that smelled like maybe. And I feel like if it was shoe polish, she would know, because shoe polish is such a distinctive smell. But she says that the costume was put into her car. She gave the costume to the San Francisco Police Department, and immediately it disappeared and was never seen again. So, because she didn't take photos of the actual costume, then she made a replica of it. Well, what she's done here, I think she's wearing trash bags on her body, by the way. But this photo was taken by Sandy Betts, and she says this is a replica of the costume that she found. If you think that the Zodiac Killer looked like that at Lake Berryessa, then you're tripping balls, and you haven't seen the actual... Do I have the composite? Okay. Yeah, I'll email you. Just in case, because I've changed emails since the time my last channel was banned, Manny, send a little text, like even one letter, just anything. I think I have your email, but just in case, since I'm live right now, send to newcoaxbaninvasion@gmail.com. It's down there on the bottom left of the screen. The Zodiac Killer definitely didn't look like this at Lake Berryessa. It just didn't. We have two versions of the Berryessa costume. I think... I don't know if I put them both... Let's see if I can put them on the screen. Here. Because there's two versions of the Berryessa costume. There's the version that was drawn by Napa right after the offense, and then there's the version that was drawn by Robert Graysmith for the book and for Terrador. For Divertido y para Terrador. And, okay, here's the Napa costume. This is the one that Napa Sheriff released, and this one was made with the direct consultation of Brian Hartnell after he was stabbed. You can see that. It looks like that. And then, this is the one that Robert Graysmith drew. If I have it. Hopefully I do. Lake Berryessa. Dead air. Oh no. I mean, anyway, it's the more famous one. If I don't have it in time, and I'm looking for it as fast as I can here. Maybe it's like Berryessa costume. Maybe I don't have it. I've put it on the stream 1,000 times. But, let's see. Berryessa costume. Berryessa sketch, maybe? No, that could be the voyeur. Alright, anyway, look up Robert Graysmith. Because, anyway, I don't even think that's what he looked like. But the one that Sandy Betts has made looks more like the Robert Graysmith version. And first of all, the bib that she's wearing, it's not even... Like, the bib came down to about his belly. It didn't go all the way down to his fucking knees, Sandy Betts. Read the witness reports. Brian Hartnell talked about it in the hospital bed. This is not, the costume that she's wearing is not the one described by Brian Hartnell at all. And the cross was about 4 to 6 inches across, in diameter, or whatever it was. It was about 4 to 6 inches. Sandy Betts this is not what the Zodiac was wearing, and obviously. And there's been some dispute about whether or not that hood was rounded on the top, or was it squared. I think he said it had 4 corners. But if you look carefully on the Berryessa sketch, the one that was consulted by Brian Hartnell, there's a big bump in the middle of it where the head presumably is. And the question is, did that really happen, or was it squared off like Sandy Betts's? And I don't know. But if you look at the costume on the left, that's more what we think Zodiac looked like. So 12. You mean the police? So the one on the left is probably much more of what Zodiac looked like at Lake Berryessa, and the one that Sandy Betts is wearing is absolutely ridiculous, and it didn't look like that. That's a paper bag painted with shoe polish. Okay. Let me see here. I'm gonna zoom out. Alright, so let's get back on this thing here now that we get the idea.
Say that Sandy Betts is correct. She built a replica of
Oh, there's the
Berryessa.
sketch. So there's the Robert Graysmith sketch right there. Oh, 1226 Theory leather welder hood. Yeah, I don't know about that. Anyway, I think it was made. I think it was hand stitched. Like maybe, you know. Let me see what a welder hood looks like, because I can either dispute that or let me see. Leather welder hood. No, it's rounded. Here's the problem with that hypothesis, the welder hood. The Lake Berryessa oh, I'm sure she's an original Zodiac Files because she was all over the place. She was from the area. The welder hood hypothesis, it's too rounded. Brian Hartnell says that the four corners of the mask met at like they were corners, like it had been sewed, or like there was a square on the top. Now, did the head kind of poke through that? I don't know. But what we do know is that it met at four corners, and a leather welder hood doesn't appear to do that. So let's keep going.
Costume from a soaking wet old paper bag.
That's proof. So that's making crack.
How much black spray paint did she need to huff to come up with a story like that?
That guy's making crack right there.
Is Ray Grant still granting and raving when no one really cares?
Or is even listening? We're only listening to Ned. Another beautiful coincidence about that is I'm saying in the lyrics, we're only listening to Ned, and right at that moment he's talking and I'm nodding. That was on accident, and it just worked out perfectly.
Virginia at heart, and from around the world.
EBR.
Or when we go online,
The Black Box Online Radio. Black Box Online Radio.
Black Box Online.
Black Box Ned. Look how cool he looks. He's such a radio show host. Ned is like a legend. He's the last of the great radio hosts, man.
I think you have to get the mood right.
I've been saying it for years he's going to blow up. And he has been. It's just been happening gradually. Gotta get the mood right here for Eurons. Celebration of Eurons.
Now we can be safe again, cause the Eurons has been found. I guess that the Quester files was all it took to bring him down, and everyone's been giving that guy Paul Holes all the credit.
Fucking potholes.
When all that he ever did was post some smoked out shit on Reddit, while Quester put geographic profiles together for many years. Quester mapped his prowling routes, now there's nothing left for us to fear, because now we can be safe again, cause Ripon Court is fading away. Sarda's just a nightmare now, Visalia getting further away. I think we can go outside because they found the killer of the Meteors, and I don't think we need to be afraid anymore.
Take that, junk food Joey. You are fucking garbage, junk food Joey. Eat investigative genetic genealogy and fucking live under the jail. You are fucking trash, junk food Joey, and your ski mask looks terrible. You'll be silent forever, and I'll be gone in the dark, dude. Go on.
supermax, you irrelevant son of a bitch. Everyone on the internet now knows that you're a piece of shit. Now we know that Rancho Cordova has seen its vengeance finally. And now I know that Ripen Court is receiving post involved from me, because Quester put a psychological outline of you and your ways online.
Yeah, eat it, Quester.
Quester,
Or eat it, junk
your
food.
prowling routes now. There's
Quester's
nothing
awesome.
left for you to do but time.
He's also smoked
Be
outlet.
safe again,
I like him.
Ripen Court is fading away. Sard is just a nightmare now.
I mean that like in the best way.
Is a wasting away.
Quester's cool.
I think we can go outside because
He's
they
drowning in satellite imagery.
Yours, and I don't think we need to be afraid anymore.
Dude, by far worst
Worst
fucking
police officer.
There's
Just the
never-
worst
there's some
cop.
bad cops out there,
Just
but
the
this is
worst.
a whole.
This is like a-
guy
yeah,
is not a
it's
good
not
cop.
even-
He's not good at anything that he's trying to do. He was.
They're talking about police being bad and stuff in the news, like Derek Chauvin and these other guys who do that. Like, this is a whole other like, really, Officer Erons? Are you fucking kidding me?
Trying to get away with murders and rapes and just terrible things,
Horrible.
and he couldn't even do that right. And now he lives in the fucking Corcoran, and he's fucking trash. Fuck you, Junk Food Joey.
Corcoran.
Now we can be safe again, cause the Erons has been found. Now we can be safe again, Junk Food Joey
Has been found.
Now we can be safe again, cause he'll soon be dead and underground. And now we can be safe again, cause the Erons is dead underground.
Mic drop. Do-do-dum-dum. Do-do-dum. We're Andy Kaufman right here. Now what? Now point the sketch and go back to lost, dazed, and confused here. Just completely no idea what to do. Alright, so that's most of the movie, and then here's that's my rap debut. This is my rap debut right here. Yeah, stereo rapist. Pain is really small, so I don't get laid. Burglary's not for profit, so I don't get paid. Prowling on the street without a 6'4". Blow your face off with a 44. Thought I'd get away with it, so I left my DNA. Because my mugshot looks gay. Ventura can't think, so my chances look good. Manicured my lawn in a Sacramento hood. My cousins went to jet match, time's running out. No time to prowl around, no time to search warrant. Search warrant. Search warrant. Don't tase me, bro. Don't tase me, bro. This is my second rap debut right here. This is a better one. I like this one more. Broke out of county jail cause they ain't got junk food. The bitches took the laces from my goddamn shoes. They tried to take my ski mask, they tried to make me plead guilty to the crimes in the first degree. You're never gonna catch me, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna... Alright, remember I said I would bring up blood spatters? So, look, if you're trying to say that the John F. Kennedy blood spatter is not real, you're tripping. It's so fucking real. The Zapruder film 313, is that the right one? Zapruder film 313 is absolutely and totally real. So, trying to dispute that frame is, it really is getting us to literally look in the wrong direction. You know, people are trying to say that fatal shot came from the front, the head shot is from the front. It's not from the front, it's from behind, obviously. And the question there is who shot him? And what's been going on is that people are trying to basically dispute what's clearly visible in the film, and now we're looking literally in the wrong direction and figuratively in the wrong direction too. The gunshot came from behind. Now, who pulled the trigger? That's another thing. Now, of course, I think that comes from a desperate desire to... Let's talk new Cokes. Who do you think the Kim regime works for? What, the CIA, probably? It's usually the CIA, isn't it? the argument that the gunshot comes from the front is a desperate last-ditch attempt to push all possible blame away from Lee Harvey Oswald. Now, I don't think Lee Harvey Oswald shot John F. Kennedy, and I don't think he shot J.D. Tippit either. And there's a lot of problems with the idea that he killed Kennedy and that he killed J.D. Tippit. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did those things. I don't think he did. And it doesn't require a gunshot coming from the front to dispute the Oswald narrative. Lee Harvey Oswald flunked a paraffin test, or passed a paraffin test, really. Didn't have gunshot residues on his hand or face, which should by itself indicate that he never fired a weapon that day. I'm not buying that, because there's the two weapons that were used allegedly, according to the Warren Commission, for the assassination of Kennedy are the Carcano rifle and a revolver. And I don't remember the exact model of the revolver, but a revolver, in case you ever fired one, ejects powder from every fucking direction, every seam. It comes out the cylinder gaps, it comes out at the barrel, it comes out backwards. There's powder everywhere when you fire a revolver. And in a Carcano is a bolt-action rifle. Your cheek is down here by the bolt. There will be gunshot residue all over. This guy would be drenched in smokeless powder, and he isn't. He never had gunshot residue on his hands or face, and so therefore he couldn't have fired those shots. And I think that's a more effective argument against Oswald being the killer of Kennedy than the direction that the gunfire comes from. Now, where did the gunfire come from? I think it came from the top of the National Archives building, so not from the book depository. Another thing, there's problems with the book depository. The gunshot appears to come from straight behind. It comes, from right here, and it blows forward. There's minor deflection, going on the right side of the head. But I don't think it would have done that. I think if Oswald had fired that shot, the deflection of that, or the trajectory of that bullet would have carried it to the left, because the building is behind him and to the right. So there would have been a right here on the left side, not the right side. The right side indicates that the gunfire either came from directly behind or the opposite direction of the book depository. I think the gunfire that killed Kennedy came from the top of the National Archives building, which is directly behind the motorcade. Something in my head likes to switch up Daltex and National Archives. I don't know if it's the same thing, but there's a building directly behind the motorcade, and then offset to the side from there is the book depository. And I think that the gunshot. Spook Archive has mag clip of Kim being a spy for them. Jesus. Yeah. Probably. He's implementing CIA behaviors over there. He's enslaving his people, blah, blah. So, the gunfire doesn't come from the front. It comes from the back. Let's look at the case with that narrative, because the Zapruder film isn't fake. Look how hard it was for me to do it. Look at this. Let's see if I can rewind it with precision. 37. Great. You're never gonna catch me, you dumb fuckers. That was very hard to do. It got easier once important publishing notes. The rights to this film and the record featured within are given to Rhiannon McConnell and Colin B. McConnell equally and in their totality in case Junk Food Joey ever breaks out of prison and beats me to death with a piece of firewood for making fun of him in this movie, or if anything of the sort resulting in my demise occurs. Basically what that's saying in a comedy way is, just in case I die, these people can have my movie. Which I did in New Cokes, and I think I put something about skinnies on the rooftops, or Mary Terry cult members, but really it was me trying to word that softly. So, now you have it here. Boom.
Try that again because I started laughing.
This is blooper reel. I like this part.
1, 2, 3.
It was so hard to film this.
No, only para momento par polici, pero yo tengo de amigos en la policía.
So hard to film this.
I would say there's complicated conspiracy. See, sometimes yo tengo por amigos gonna follow the sandy beds to the diner, y sometimes amigos gonna shoot the armas en la casa de...
I remember
I would
exactly
say
that.
there's a complicated conspiracy. See, sometimes yo tengo por amigos gonna follow sandy beds to the diner, y sometimes amigos gonna...
Oh,
Hat fell off. Try it again. Yo tengo por amigos gonna... No para nothing in the allegations, no para me, same.
That's a reference to our buddy Javier that I talked about earlier. That's another one of his. He had a lot of catchphrases, and one of his catchphrases was "For me, same." And he would say like, "I don't care if I'm smoking with other people or if I'm smoking by myself. For me, same." And he would get, "For me, same." So I would joke with him, and he's like, "Oh, abuelita no happy." I say, "For me, same."
Sometimes I do a crafty cryptogram, maybe for the hoping she gonna realize I'm a Zodiac killer.
Zodiac.
Sometimes
The Zodiac.
Zodiac. Maybe sometimes borrow that paper.
God damn it. His mustache was held on with eyelash glue.
Divertito y para atanador.
Alright, so that's the end of the
True
movie.
value of a composite.
Live from a spinning ball, this has been the most banned Prowler Online.